2. On a cold New Year's Eve, soft snowflakes were gently falling from the sky. Everyone was busy preparing for the new year. The city was decorated with colorful lights, and a bright star on top of a Christmas tree made everyone feel happy. People wore thick coats, scarves, and hats. Some went to the market to shop, while others hurried home. And of course, children were joyfully running around, having snowball fights. Their cheerful laughter echoed through the streets, but on another corner of the street stood a girl different from the other children. She had neither a thick coat nor a woolen hat. She wore only a torn, thin dress and oversized slippers on her feet, standing all alone. Though the cold seeped into her bones and made her shiver, she watched the children playing with a smile. One of the children mockingly shouted, "Look, the little match girl is here again." She truly was a little match girl. Eyes watering from the cold and a small cardboard box in her hand, she tried to sell matches to people. In her trembling, delicate voice, she called out to passers-by, "I have matches. Would you like to buy some?" But no one heard her or even saw her. As the box she held tightly grew icy in her hands and almost slipped away, she heard the sound of a car rushing toward her. Whir! When she turned, she saw the car was about to hit her. Her face froze in the light of the headlights. A man shouted, "Get off the road!" The girl quickly threw herself to the side of the road. As her frail body fell, both her slippers flew off, and the box slipped from her hands. When she got up, she saw another child grab her slippers and run away. "But those are my slippers!" she cried after him. Brr! The child quickly disappeared. The little girl desperately began picking up her scattered matches. Then she moved to a wall and tried for hours to sell matches on her bare feet. "I have matches. Would you like to buy some?" I'm selling matches, but no one, absolutely no one, paid attention to her faint voice. The match girl's eyes filled with tears as she felt the icy ground beneath her feet. If only she could sell a few matches, she could go home and have a bowl of hot soup. The poor girl raised her red hands to her face and began to cry, because that day she had not sold a single match. Struggling to stay on her feet, she could no longer endure it. Sadly, she sat down by the wall. Taking a match from the box, she struck it against the wall, barely holding it with her numb fingers. The match immediately burst into flame. The poor little one tried to warm her hands with that tiny flame. In that moment, she found herself in a warm room in front of a roaring stove. She wore a thick coat and furry shoes. Her hands were no longer cold. She even got so warm that she began to sweat. Then, the match in her hand went out. With the little flame gone, that sweet dream also ended. The girl lit another match. At that moment, an icy wind blew. She quickly turned her face to the wall and shielded the flame with her hand. As she watched the flame, the wall in front of her slowly disappeared. In its place appeared a wide, warm room on a table covered with a white cloth. There were all kinds of food, and around it sat kind, smiling people. One of them invited the little match girl to the table. Another cut a piece of roasted meat and handed it to her. The girl thanked them and began to eat. At that moment, she felt she was both filling her hungry stomach and fulfilling her longing to dine with her family. Joyful laughter filled the table as everyone exchanged New Year's gifts. A woman who looked just like her mother asked, "Would you like some mashed potatoes as well?" The girl's eyes filled with tears, and she smiled shyly. She ate the mashed potatoes and drank a warm bowl of soup. For the first time in a long while, she felt so full. She smiled, feeling safe and loved. Then she reached with her fork to eat a piece of chocolate cake. But just then, the match burned out. She cried out, throwing the burnt match to the ground. The smiling faces vanished. The beautiful table gave way to cold stone walls. The cold, snowy air and the great silence surrounded her again. Fave. But on the little girl's face, a trace of that brief happiness remained. She quickly lit another match. This time she felt a strange excitement. With the flame, she closed her eyes and began to dream. It was a summer night. She was sitting in a meadow under a big tree. Little birds were singing in the branches. The sky was sparkling, and the stars seemed close enough to touch. Suddenly, her grandmother, with whom she used to play as a child, appeared before her. She was dressed in white, with a big smile on her face. When the match girl saw her grandmother, her eyes filled with tears of joy. "Grandmother!" she called out. Then a star fell from the sky. Just as the little girl was about to make a wish, her grandmother said, "When you see a star fall, know that someone on earth has taken its place, my dear." Then she gently disappeared. The little girl cried after her, "Wait, don't go, grandmother." Hey, "I've missed you so much." Min, a match in her hand, burned to ashes. She awoke from her dream. To see her grandmother again, she quickly lit another match with her trembling hands. When the flame flared, the snowy street turned into her grandmother's small, warm house from the past. The match girl sat by her grandmother's side, near the stove. Her grandmother was happily teaching her how to knit. "Look, this is how you take the stitch, my girl. Now watch carefully." The little girl looked at her grandmother's soft hands that occasionally caressed her head. The familiar lavender scent of those hands filled the air. Her grandmother handed her red mittens she had knitted. "These are for you, my dear, so your hands will always stay warm." The girl slipped the mittens onto her little fingers and hugged her grandmother tightly. In that embrace, she completely forgot she was in the street, hungry and alone. Yet another match burned out. When she awoke, she quickly lit another match, then another and another. Each time she gazed longingly into her grandmother's eyes. She had only one match left. Without hesitation, the little match girl lit it. In her dream, she was once again in the meadow with her grandmother. But this time, everything was even brighter. Her grandmother reached out her gentle hand. The love on the girl's face made her grandmother smile, too. She wished that moment would never end. She held her grandmother's hands tightly. When the last match in her hand turned to ash, for the first time, she did not wake from her dream. She rose up to the sky with her grandmother. The little girl suddenly felt very relieved. For her, there was no longer hunger or cold. She felt only love and peace. At that moment, another star fell across the sky. In the morning, passers-by found the little girl lying by the wall. Her eyes were closed, but there was a sweet smile on her face. At her feet lay many burnt-out matches, and what beautiful dreams she had seen in the flames of those matches, no one could ever know.